How
How are you?
are you?
What's going on? Oh, I am so good.
What's up?
Thankful to be here to have this conversation with you.
So am I. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So I know there's people going to straggle in. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to hold you up, but I am super excited. So guys, welcome to, this is our last episode of the season. Oh my gosh. Guys, we already made it to the end of the season of Indie Talks. I'm one of your hosts, Aisha Lewis Redway. And of course, my beautiful co-host, Danielle, could not be with me tonight. She is under the weather, but we're sending healing and prayers to her way. And tonight we are sitting with, just amazing talent. We have American Idol finalists. We have Billboard charting, Miss Kemi Lopez. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing very, very well. And once again, thank you for being able to be here and be able to have this conversation with me and my team. We are super excited. We just love everything about your sound, your music, just everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we're going to get right into this. So guys, if you just come in, take a seat, get your popcorn, get your wine, whatever you're doing, and just enjoy the conversation. Okay. All right. And then let's jump right into this. Let's kind of talk about, obviously, your experience and your journey in music, because you're obviously not originally from the US, you're from Nigeria.
Yes, I was born in Nigeria. I came here when I was really young, and I've been here since. So I consider myself Nigerian, but I'm also American. So
yes, of course. And just kind of talk about, your start, the influences obviously you had as a younger child with Nigerian background, and be able to come over to the States, and the influence that you had on your musical journey. And what was that like pivotal moment for where you knew that this is something I'm definitely going to take serious?
I would say I'd really discovered a love for singing when I started listening to Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey.
Ooh.
Those are my two favorites of all time. When I was very little, I would just sing along to all the songs and try to conquer every song. So that was my start. That was my start of just loving music and loving just being a vocalist and all the vocal runs and singing with soul and everything. So.
All right. Listen, you put out some big hitters out there. Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. Listen, those are two of my top favorites, of course. Yeah. Now, let's talk about your move. When you moved to the US, did you feel like, as a young girl, it was a very significant transition? Did you feel like, as far as musically, or, that it would be hard or it'd be easier, or is it pretty much about the same?
Well, I was really a child when I came here. So it was more about fitting in. It was more about trying to get past being bullied and stuff like that, because I came from another country, and it was just getting used to becoming American kind of. So that was what my mindset was at the time, just trying to fit in. And then I just found the love for music, and that, changed my direction.
Yeah. Yes. And let's talk about music, because first and foremost, you were on one of the major platforms that we consider, of course, that kind of spotlight talent from all around the world. Of course, American Idol.
Yeah.
So, and obviously you were one of the finalists, and we want you to kind of talk about that journey into wanting to audition for American Idol, because sometimes we hear different process and different things, but give us your process and what made you take that step to say, hey, I'm going to audition and I'm going to do this.
It was really my manager who found it and told me about it. And I remember, I think we were online for early in the morning that day. It was a whole day's event. So yeah. And by the end of the day, I got to stand in front of Simon and whoever else, I think Paula Abdul, I don't remember anymore. And I was slated to go to Hollywood. And that weekend they sent me a contract. It was very thick. It was just a lot of stuff. It was a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And they also sent the plane tickets, and I was supposed to get on the plane the next day. So I really wouldn't have had a lawyer read it. But from the little bit that I and my manager read, it was just too binding. Mm-hmm. Even if I hadn't won, I would have still had to answer to them for, I think, 5 years they would still have had to okay anything that I did musically or like in entertainment. So I decided not to do it.
So, and that did that also include like if you had merchandise and
Everything.
anything, everything.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was like basically signing almost like a record deal, but then without the promise of they're going to promote you or you're going to win or anything like that. It was like you belong to them for however many years. So I just didn't want to do that.
Oh, they had their own little 360 deal happening, huh?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no. And with that, obviously no regrets of not signing and to be able to take that chance. Now, obviously with this, we support a lot of independent artists. Talk about taking that step initially and just recognizing your independence as an artist and as a unique artist, not wanting to be, I guess, tied down in a sense to a label.
Right. And even after that, I did sign a deal with an independent label, but they were also taking me in a direction I didn't want to go. It was more like a sex symbol type of stuff, and I really struggled with it. I hated it. I hated the lyrics they made me sing. I hated the way they dressed me up and did my hair. So I parted ways with them as well, and I took a break.
And you had no creative control, nothing?
No, I didn't.
Oh my
I didn't.
goodness.
It was very, very frustrating,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
So that's why I just left everything and then took a break, came back and was doing it on my own, really. I mean, in this day and age of social media and Spotify and a lot of, artists can really do their own stuff, They can go out there and try to promote themselves and get a better reach that way instead of waiting for a record company to give them a deal. So that's the good thing about that.
Right. And it's very, yeah. And that's one thing about it as well that we talk to independent artists about, because, it's amazing to have a label for an extent, right? To help push if they're willing to push you, right? Market you, like you said. Of course, and what I love what you said is that the fact that you decided to do it on your own and step out, because yes, we are in a world of social media. We have everything from SunTrust, where you can be able to publishing, BMI, ASCAP, all that. You can be able to work it and just push yourself. But it does take a lot of time and energy in regards to you as an artistry. And this is where it puts you to the test to say, hey, I'm serious about this and I'm really going to do this thing and I'm going to push myself.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have my own publishing company. I actually did just register my own record label and, so we'll see. I mean, it also does cost you a lot of money because everything's out of pocket when you're doing it by yourself.
Right.
But I know with the record companies, it's not fair anyway with the way they treat their artists for the most part, especially the big record companies. The artists don't really get paid what they're worth. Like they take the lion's share, the record companies. So if an independent artist is successful, then they can really get to reap the fruits of their labors, Yeah.
So like basically sidebar, like if a record label came to you today, I know you already had these previous experiences and they're saying, hey, we're willing to give you this control, or you negotiate in the sense of what control you want, would you then go that route, or still just say, no, give me a publishing and let me just go about, my day?
I would, because I have my own record company now, so it would be my company going under theirs. It would be my label going on, like the independent having a parent label that's a major label, and they treat you a lot differently when you're a businesswoman than when you're just an artist. So yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah, put your foot down.
Yeah.
And I know with some of the experience that you have said, obviously, being a woman in this industry, the one thing about it, it's a male dominated industry, which now women and Black women are stepping up to, and taking charge. Talk about, now that you're coming in and you're just like, okay, hey, I have my own publishing, I have my own label, I'm doing this and I'm taking control for myself. Would you say your voice is still being heard into when you walk into other rooms or other setups or meeting other collaborators in the industry?
I think as you start to achieve success, yeah, your voice will be heard. That's what I think. But it's all really up to God, If you work hard, you put your best foot forward, and God blesses it. But once you have the success, I think you do have a voice, man or woman,
Okay. I love that. And now let's kind of go into this because I know we talked about how you have the love for music you also took a hiatus. And I kind of, before we get into the music, because I'm excited to talk about the new releases that you do have, kind of talk about you taking that break and what inspired you to return to music as well.
All right. So taking the break was a no-brainer. I had met the love of my life
Yes,
that I'm married to
Black
now.
love, yes.
And there were a lot of negative things happening on that side. So it was just, it made sense to just leave all of that. And also I was having like an awakening of, coming back to God, because I'm a Christian. I have a God consciousness. So, it gave me, he gave me the stability that I needed, my husband, and, going to church and, doing all that. And then the last 2 years, I'm not going to lie, have been probably the roughest years of my life. I lost my mom. That's how everything started. I lost my mom. And I think I kind of lost my mind for a minute there. And that was the time that I decided, okay, let me just do this, because, and I was talking to my, like, some people too, like family members, like, if you don't do this, you might look back a few years from now and regret it. At least you'll know you went back and you tried, So that's what I think. It was the grief from my mom that also kind of pushed me to just go out there and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm being completely transparent with you.
Listen, and that's amazing, because it takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of courage, because, everybody deals with, either losing a child or losing a parent differently, losing somebody that's very close to you, especially when they matter. Grief can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to find the courage and the strength to really get back and say, hey, I'm going to do this, because you don't want to live, 50 years down the line and be like, oh my God, I had opportunity, never did it.
Right.
Should have did it.
Right.
And, and of course, as we go on and, we have people that admire you and look up to you and say like, oh my goodness, like, they want to go in those footsteps, and they just want to say that, you are an encouragement to them. That's amazing. And I give you kudos, and I'm sorry to hear about your mother.
Thank you.
And I want to talk about your uniqueness as an artist, because your sound, and we obviously we incorporate, with the music industry today, we incorporate trends with music and different things like that. And of course, Afro beats and Caribbean music and different sounds are coming to life in the mainstream. Talk about your uniqueness and how you continue to stand out in your journey and into your style of music.
Well, first of all, I think everyone stands out and everyone has their own unique thing, but for me, I think it's the blending of my my Nigerian or African roots, plus my love for R&B pop. And I think that's what makes it more unique. Like, it's not really just R&B. It's not really just Afro beats. Like, I don't sound like the Afro beats artists that are in Nigeria. Right. And, so, and even the songs that I've sung, I haven't really what I love to do, as I've told you, is like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, vocal type stuff, which I have not shown that on these songs that you've heard. So Afrobeats is more about the
I feel it's there.
Really?
I can definitely, I can feel it's there though.
I had to kind of tone it down because it's more about the beat with the Afrobeat, but I try to find a good blend. So I think that's what would make me unique, like just combining both cultures,
Yes. And now let's get into the music. So obviously, you had a single, Sweetie. This became one of your biggest sensations, getting a lot of attention, inspiration. Kind of talk about that expectation for that single, because obviously nobody expects, when they're giving themselves into their music, they don't expect it to go viral or go, to chart billboards. Obviously you're doing it because it's a love and it's just something you want to put out to your audience. But kind of talk about the expectation and what you were, the story behind it, how you settled this first single.
Okay, Love is the first single. Sweetie was the second single. So yeah, so Sweetie it was written by me and someone else. It's really more, it's really about like my husband. It's about like your ideal love, like your happily ever after kind of thing. You know, if you hear the lyrics, it's in love, the first song, you're looking for it and you're idealizing it in your head, but in Sweetie, you've realized it. You've met the person and it's working out. So we did the song, we worked with the producer, and we started just promoting it, and we decided to do like a challenge, and which opened the doors for anyone. Like whatever you do well, you can do it to Sweetie, whether you're a dancer, a poet, a singer, a rapper, an artist. Like so a lot of people just came out and did whatever they did best to the song. So it was a lot of entries, and I was really humbled by all of their input and their artistry. Even the person who actually won, the people who won, they did a short film to Sweetie, and it was very, very well shot. It was it was looked really professional for people who are just up and coming. They did a really great job. So that was how that went viral to a certain extent, because of all the people that were able to get involved in it and made it their own. So it was a really good ride.
Oh, amazing. And then of course your most recent single, obviously Lean on Me, which carries very such a powerful message, and reassurance and support. I want you to kind of talk about the inspiration and creation of the song, and how does it reflect on your personal values?
Lean on Me is that unconditional love. Obviously, we have that unconditional love from God, and it's saying you can lean on me, you can count on me. I'm here for you. I got your back. And it's that solid love, and it's even beyond romance. It's, I think, a universal type of thing, like a reassurance to say, I'm here for you. Because a lot of the times, a lot of people need someone to just be there for them, to say, this is my rock. This is the person that I can lean on. So that's where that song came from.
I love it. And also, just a little bit of fun fact as well, you became a worship leader.
Yes, during my music, I was a worship leader. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Just worshiping God with a whole bunch of people. It was a great experience. I obviously I worship God every day. I would still do it again, you know.
And what I personally wanted to say, what I love about the lyricism of Lean on Me, because clearly I can tell, the spiritual, that the support that you give and have through the lyricism of the music. How important was that, because you becoming you're a Christian and you're a worship leader, how important for you to reflect that into your music for your audience?
Extremely important. It's of the utmost importance, because everything I do, I pray about. I don't just run off and I have made a lot of mistakes since I started back out. I'll be the first one to say I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had to learn from a lot of things, but I still prayed. I still, like, whatever it is that I want to do, whatever it is, I still try to ask God for direction or see if I'm going the right way or not, because at the end of the day, I really don't want to find myself in a place that God is not happy with me. So that's my driving force. So that's why it naturally is going to reflect through my lyrics and, whatever I do.
I love that, because that's the one thing that's foundation for me. Like, no matter what I'm doing, how I'm going about it, like, I need to make sure I'm praying about it. I'm asking God, like, is this the right direction? Because, I'm gonna go where you're gonna go. You tell me to go.
Right.
And I think that's so important. And I love the reflection of that in the music, that encourages someone who really listening and paying attention and understanding, like, okay, I'm not moving until I'm being led.
Right.
And what has been the most with you? Obviously, like you said, you are a wife, you're an entrepreneur, you have so many hats. Talk about balancing in regards to your life, because there's a lot of experience, like you said, the last few years has been, difficult. So at this very point in your life, what have you learned in regards to balance and, about healing and self-care and really understanding how to, put your hand on what you can?
I guess it's that really, I'm not Superwoman. I kind of like I used to rush through stuff or try to cram as much stuff and try to do so much that, but all that does is frazzle me. So I've really learned consciously to speak to myself like, slow down. This doesn't have to get done right now. You know, that doesn't have to get, you don't have to. I mean, I do set my deadlines sometimes and I have discipline, but I can't throw everything into one pot at the same time, because I have to take it one day at a time. So I guess that's, yeah, I've learned to do that. And we're women, we are
Yeah.
multitaskers naturally, and even when you're frazzled, it still gets done somehow.
Right.
you know
we then put on a cape, and for some reason it's like multiple. You'll think it's multiple of us, but it's not.
right.
We just know how to get it done.
Right.
And first of all, once again, just thank you for this conversation. You definitely have said a lot of things that definitely encourage me, of course, and I'm hoping that someone on here or someone who will look back at this, they'll be encouraged as well. The one thing I want to kind of talk about, some of your influences. We know musically, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, is there anyone within your personal life that you feel like that influenced you to keep this journey in motion? Like, just because sometimes like, for me, I'll be like, okay, I have to do this for myself. I have to do it for my son. I have to do this for my husband. Is there anything that's personal to you where you feel like I need to stay in this fight?
I will say the number one person was my mom.
Mm-hmm.
That was I could call her and cry to her, and my problem was her problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that was the one person. She really stuck by me. She really believed in me more than anyone else. And so, yeah, it would be my mom.
Got it. And of course, I have to ask now, who are I'm just only going to ask for 5. Who are some of your top 5 artists that you are listening to right now who may be on your playlist?
Sade.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, of course, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. I like Thames. Have you ever heard of Thames? She's
yes, I love Thames.
She just recently got like this blow up in the US. So yeah, Thames. Was that 5?
I think that's Brian, Whitney, Sade. One more.
I do like Lenny Kravitz.
Ooh.
I do like Lenny Kravitz. Yeah.
All right. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good playlist. I like that.
Yeah.
And and before we wrap up, I kind of want to kind of talk about, just go back a little bit, because with Nigeria, their music scene versus the US. Do you feel like there is a global stage in regards to when it comes to African music that's coming over? Because obviously we know, like I said before, Afrobeats and different sounds are becoming a little bit more mainstream now within the US. Do you feel like the music is now set at global stage where it's just like it's very welcomed?
Oh yeah, Davido. I know you've heard of Davido. Yes. He's probably the most popular or successful Afrobeats artist. Tiwa Savage, Thames, Gyaki, Wizkid. So yeah. These you turn on the radio, their songs are playing. So it's here now. It's here. They're winning Grammys. So they've been accepted. So it's a great time to be a part of Afrobeats, So
and those are some really good artists, and it's just like, I felt like, because for years ago it was just like, okay, when obviously when we were listening to certain artists and it has those sounds, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so good, I wish it was more of it. And a lot of people was just, it wasn't until the past couple of years where it's just like, okay, now we're accepting it. And then of course this year, I think this was the first category for the Grammys. They opened up a category for like international music for as far as like Afro
Oh,
beats and
okay. I
Caribbean
didn't know.
music and things like, yeah, they opened up a new category for it, which is recognizing more African artists as well. And I love
Right.
that. And I was just like, and sometimes like I'm just like, I hate like, y'all just wait until now, like now
Right.
for this. Like it's so
Yeah.
many good artistry.
There's been such
And
an uptick. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just like it's like come on. But my last very question, in which I always ask, and which is one of my favorite questions, because you had such an amazing journey, you know, charting the Billboard, you know, that experience with American Idol, of course, your own journey becoming an entrepreneur. Now, for other artists, what words of encouragement would you be able to provide to those who just starting out, or who may be on this journey, who maybe need to take a break, who maybe needs to, you know, kind of reset themselves? What words of encouragement would you be able to offer?
Maybe two things. The first thing would be, honestly, really, you got to include God in it. You know, because God is the one who created you. He's the one who knows your destiny. He holds your future in his hands. And so he knows the best way, the best direction for you to go. So you can't do it without God, in my opinion. If you want to do it right, you've got to let God be involved in it. That's the number one thing. And the second thing is, you got to believe in yourself. And I know that sounds so cliche, but I really had to go through that, where you will literally hear things that will want to bring you down from
Mm.
people you didn't expect. And it's very easy for you to fall into that, and for you to stop believing in yourself and think you can't do it. But you just if you have God on your side, you got to have that one track mind. Okay, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm going to do. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. Even when you feel like you can't do it, you've got to just do it.
I love that. And then just a piggyback question in regards to it. How were you able to overcome from the naysayers? How did you find that confidence in yourself to say, no, I'm gonna put a shield up, and move forward?
Honestly, again, through prayer and reading my Bible and really getting direction. Is this true, God? You know, is this what I should be doing? And I'm going to say there have been times when God redirected me when I was not going in the right direction. And sometimes it was a sacrifice and sometimes it wasn't, you know? So really, again, you get your strength from God. You know, I don't want to start preaching or anything, but really that's the only place
Listen,
I have my
I'm ready
I
to
can't
grab the Bible and everything.
right.
Come on over,
That's
give me scripture and everything.
that's the only place I get my strength from is
Mm-hmm.
God, because that's the only place you can get it from.
Yes.
He's gonna be your biggest cheerleader because he's gonna be the one to direct your path.
I love
You know.
it.
Yeah.
I love it, and as he should.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, make sure you know you start with God. Anything you do, any direction you're trying to, start with Him
Yeah.
first. And even if you know you feel like you still confused, like you know, get a community that will sit with you, that will talk with you, pray with you,
Right.
all the above. Because
Right.
sometimes it's not, we're alone. We're not always strong enough. But a
Right. My husband, for
community.
example, I'm
No,
sorry.
go
He,
ahead.
you know, we had a lot of arguments going back and forth about stuff. There are a lot of times that, you know, maybe I felt I didn't get the support that I needed from him, but I realized it was what he was doing was for my own good. And the advice he was giving me was for my own good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's also a strong Christian. So I also had to get to a point where I started listening to him a little bit more. So
Chad, we can be a little hard-headed.
yes. So he's my best friend. You know, he does support me, and he's a very big cheerleader. Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And shout out to my husband as well for being my
Oh,
support system and my cheerleader. I love you, babe.
yeah.
And lastly, we're wrapping up. What's next? What do you have coming? Because I know you're getting back into, you have these singles and you're flourishing. Like, what's next for you?
I actually had to take a step back,
Okay.
some personal things. So the last few weeks I've been kind of just taking it easy and just woosah, you know.
Yeah.
But so the next thing I have
Self-care,
is,
self-care.
yeah, right. The next thing I have is I wrote a song, but before I release the song, I'm gonna do it as a visual poem first. So I'm gonna make the whole video. I'm gonna speak the words. I'm gonna release that as a visual poem, and then after that, I'm gonna release the single. So that's what I'm working on right now.
In expectation of when this may be released, more for the new year, or
yeah, early next year for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to the new song. I love it. The poem version, like it's a poem version. Oh my God. This is gonna be so amazing, very unique. I love it.
Thank
and
you.
we're looking forward to it. So guys, for those who are on here, or those who will be watching or are watching, make sure you please support our independent artists. It takes so much to be an artist. Please make sure not only just stream, but purchase the music. Trust me, it helps their artistry. It helps all of us in the system that works in this music industry. Trust me, it does.
Yes.
All right. Well, let me tell you, thank you so much. I learned got some gems tonight. Okay. I'm hoping that a lot of others, when they come back and watch this, they definitely take away what I took away from this as well. I just want to thank you again for sitting and having this conversation with me tonight. It's such a pleasure. And guys, please make sure you go support.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. This was lovely. Thank you.
Of course. And you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
Of course. Oh my goodness. I love it. Such a sweet spirit, beautiful person inside and out. This is amazing. So guys, this is our final episode of the season. We'll be returning back in 2024, of course. So thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, my beautiful co-host Danielle could not be with us tonight. She is under the weather. So we're going to send much love and much prayers to her way that she gets better. But guys, thank you for an amazing season. If you missed any of the episodes, please make sure you go back to our YouTube channel. We have so many different episodes of sitting with so many different artists, songwriters, a lot of industry big hitters we have talked to throughout the year. Please make sure you go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Genius R Us. If you are not following us, please make sure you hit the follow button. We have a lot of things coming up for you this year. We have some more interviews that we're gonna be putting up as well. But guys, thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your support and understanding. And guys, you already know what it is. You see it right here. It's nothing but real music, real style, and real people. And let me tell you, it don't get no realer than this. So guys, until next time, you already know. Peace.